Alright guys, so one of my favorite scenes throughout all the Jurassic World movies is certainly that instance where one of the park workers falls into the raptor enclosure and is nearly eaten by Blue, Echo, Delta, and Charlie. And I love that moment where Owen Grady jumps in and gets between the raptors and his fallen comrade. Now what I want to do today with the crew in tow is to recreate that scenario by entering an enclosure with what I consider to be a modern day dinosaur.
Alright guys, come on up. Oh, I hear him.
Hold. Gatekeeper! Lower the gate! Whoa! "200 million years ago, the Jurassic period gave rise to the dinosaurs. During this time, the first birds also began to appear, where they lived and thrived amongst their giant prehistoric counterparts. Fast forward hundreds of millions of years to the present, and you can see how some of the primitive bird species that exist today, like the ostrich, bear a striking resemblance to a number of different dinosaur species. It's a Gallimimus. Actually, it's an ostrich, which is technically a modern-day avian dinosaur. But it's amazing how much the ostrich looks like the famous dinosaur known as the Gallimimus that we saw in the first Jurassic Park movie. You guys remember that scene when Dr. Grant, Tim, and Lex were walking across the grasslands, and all of a sudden they came flocking toward them? That is pretty cool. And while it's impossible to forget the moment where Tyrannosaurus Rex crashes from the underbrush to capture and consume a Gallimimus, the most famous bird-like dinosaur in the Jurassic franchise certainly has to be the Velociraptor. Whether you love their problem-solving intelligence in Jurassic Park, or the heroic moments displayed by Blue in Jurassic World, this cunning predator has become an iconic fan favorite. Today we are on location at the Everglades Alligator Farm. This wildlife sanctuary is quite similar to a real-life version of Jurassic World. And every year, thousands of visitors attend the park to see their vast array of wildlife, which even includes a pair of modern-day velociraptors. Alright guys, so one of my favorite scenes throughout all the Jurassic World movies is certainly that instance where one of the park workers falls into the raptor enclosure and is nearly eaten by Blue, Echo, Delta, and Charlie. And I love that moment where Owen Grady jumps in and gets between the raptors and his fallen comrade. Now what I want to do today with the crew in tow is to recreate that scenario by entering an enclosure with what I consider to be a modern-day dinosaur, the one and only emu. So if you guys are ready, I know I'm ready, a little bit nervous, and certainly excited to test out my raptor training skills. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Alright
guys, come on up. Oh, I hear him.
Hold. Gatekeeper! Lower the gate.
It's time for breakfast.
Watch your backs, guys. Watch your backs. Careful. I'm gonna keep the bird corralled this way. Come on, you know me.
Oh, here comes the other one.
There we go. As the birds acclimated to the crew and I being in their enclosure, it was time to see if I could feed these prehistoric-looking creatures, allowing them to build trust in me. Before I entered the enclosure, I wisely armed myself with a healthy supply of emu feed. It was crucial that I kept the birds' attention in order to get the cameras up close for a safe presentation. Okay, let me see if I can sort of corral them over in this direction. More feed. Hello, good morning. How are you? Look at that face. Here. There we go. Good. When it comes to feeding, the emu doesn't have teeth, so a peck from the beak is completely harmless. If these birds were replaced by velociraptors, it would be a far different level of danger. Velociraptors are armed with jaws of razor-sharp teeth and an estimated bite force of around 2,000 pounds per square inch. That is equivalent to a large American alligator.
And when you look at the design of the bird's head, it has a very large eyeball. They have incredible eyesight, but what you may also notice is this little lens flicking back and forth over the eye. That's called a nictitating membrane. So similar to crocodiles and alligators, that helps them protect the eye. Now, in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we saw that design on the Indoraptor, which was very unique and certainly would help that animal protect its eyeball against anything getting into it. Even fighting with another dinosaur, it would not want to lose an eye.
Next to the ostrich, the emu is considered the second tallest bird in the world. And with its neck fully extended, they can reach heights of nearly 6 feet. When compared to a velociraptor, it is the exact same height. So looking down the length of this bird's beak is like looking back in time and down the snout of a velociraptor. And as you travel down the height of this animal from its beak tip to its toes, you certainly recognize how the feet are very dinosaur-like in design.
Okay, I'm gonna do this, something a little risky. I'm gonna stay right in front of the feet. And Mario, go ahead and zoom in on those legs. Notice the tridactyl structure of these feet, perfectly designed for running. And you may notice how they also look like the feet of a dinosaur. I'll tell you what, there's nothing more prehistoric than the foot of this bird. And look at those claws. Wow, not quite as big as a velociraptor, but certainly intimidating. I'll tell you what, the last thing you want to see is one of these birds running at you full speed, leaping into the air, and swinging at you with a full-blown kick.
A kick from an emu would be painful, but a kick from a raptor would be deadly. Both the velociraptors and the Indoraptor have a similar tridactyl toe structure, and their feet are armed with a retractable claw on the inside toe. Not only is this weapon intimidating, as it was often seen clicking on the floor as the dinosaurs walked, but it was also used to cut and slash at its victims. Once an unlucky target was taken down, the rest of the foot was used to hold the prey in place before those terrifying jaws were put into action.
You may be wondering to yourself, what are my odds of ever encountering an emu in the wild? So if you're out there in Australia wandering through the outback or up in the Northern Territory and you're in some of that dense foliage, this bird is gonna hear you coming before you ever get the chance to see it. Now, you look at these feathers, they also work as incredible camouflage. So this animal could literally just stand still in the environment and you may walk right past it. Kind of reminds me of that scene in Jurassic Park when Muldoon goes out and they try to get to the bunker to turn the power back on, and he's hunting that one velociraptor from a distance, and that's when the other two raptors come from the side. I'll tell you what, a bird like this certainly could sneak up on you, but the good news for us is that they don't eat humans. Well, I would certainly say that my raptor training skills have improved over the course of filming this episode. But how epic was this, entering an enclosure and getting up close with a modern day dinosaur? I'm Coyote Peterson, be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next Jurassic World adventure.
Entering an enclosure with a pair of emus is about as close as one can get to an encounter with a living avian dinosaur. From their intelligent eyes and methodical movements, to their scale-covered feet armed with razor-sharp claws, these birds made the perfect counterpart in our attempt to recreate some of the Jurassic franchise's famous Velociraptor scenes. I'd say that my raptor training skills improved while working with these beautiful birds. But I'll also be the first to admit that I have a long ways to go before leading this pack up against foes like the Indominus Rex or the Indoraptor. If you love the Jurassic franchise as much as we do, then make sure to go back and watch the films from Universal Home Entertainment that sparked an adventure 65 million years in the making. This collection is now available on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital download. If you missed the first episode of Jurassic World Explorers, make sure to go back and watch, as we got a living version of Tyrannosaurus Rex up close for the cameras. And don't forget, subscribe so you can join me and the crew on our next Jurassic World adventure.
You know what this reminds me of? That scene in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom when Owen and Claire have to do the blood transfusion between the Tyrannosaurus Rex and Blue.